Hello everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to be unpacking a really fascinating analysis focused on the absolute engine of any state's future, and that's higher education. Specifically, we're looking squarely at the cowboy state. We'll be walking through a comprehensive report titled Blueprint for Reform Wyoming. This was recently published by the James G. Martin Center for Academic Renewal, and they've put forward a detailed set of policy proposals aimed at completely revitalizing how higher ed operates in Wyoming. Whether you're a student, a taxpayer, or just someone who closely tracks how public institutions adapt to modern challenges, the structure of this blueprint really offers a highly compelling case study.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really grasp the situation in Wyoming, we have to start with one highly unique structural reality, and that number is 1. Wyoming has exactly one public four-year university. Just one. This means that nearly all of the state's public resources, funding, and academic focus for higher education are heavily concentrated into a single institution. This concentration of resources sets the stage for everything we are about to discuss today. Because when you only have one major public university, the stakes for getting its structure right are literally sky high.
And to ground us in exactly why those stakes are so high, the Martin Center's report emphasizes that Wyoming's colleges and universities play an absolutely essential role in, and I quote, preparing students for civic life and productive careers, as well as supporting the state's long-term economic vitality. You know, this isn't just about handing out degrees. It's about the fundamental lifeblood of the state. A thriving university system is absolutely essential for shaping informed citizens, filling the jobs of tomorrow, and ensuring the long-term economic health of Wyoming as a whole. If the university struggles, well, the economic and civic vitality of the state struggles right alongside it.
Part 1. 3 major structural challenges. Let's examine the current hurdles facing Wyoming's public university system.
According to the Martin Center's analysis, the state's economic health is currently threatened by 3 very specific structural challenges. The first one is straightforward but deeply pressing. University enrollment is declining. This is a foundational issue, right? A university system is built to serve students, and when those student numbers drop, it creates this massive ripple effect across the entire institution. It impacts funding, it impacts the vibrancy of campus life, and ultimately it means fewer graduates actually entering the state's workforce.
Now, even for the students who are enrolled, a second structural hurdle emerges. Academic programs are not always well aligned with Wyoming's actual workforce needs. The report highlights a real disconnect here. Students might be going through the educational motions, but the programs currently being offered aren't effectively or consistently connecting them with the labor demands of the Wyoming economy. If the ultimate goal is productive careers and economic vitality, having a misalignment between what's taught in the classroom and what's needed out in the workforce is a major structural flaw. Finally, we loop right back to that monopoly we discussed earlier. Concentrated resources limit competition, innovation, and viewpoint diversity. Without the natural pressures of competition, the Martin Center argues that you see a bottleneck that severely restricts program diversity and stifles healthy debate. When there is only one game in town, the natural pressures that normally drive an institution to adapt, improve, and really broaden its perspectives are significantly diminished. Which brings us to Part 2, the Blueprint for Reform. These are the Martin Center's proposed policy solutions.
The report makes it very clear that while these challenges are severe, they're definitely not insurmountable. And this brilliantly illustrates how the Martin Center isn't just looking at one isolated fix. They propose a comprehensive, multi-step systemic overhaul. These 6 policy reforms target academic rigor, like restoring rigorous general education and prioritizing student return on investment, while simultaneously tackling those big structural issues. We're talking about strengthening accreditation choice, reducing administrative bloat, safeguarding viewpoint diversity, and encouraging vital competition. It's really a comprehensive approach rooted in both academic excellence and fiscal responsibility.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the blueprint tackles the internal structure of the university. A major target here is reducing administrative bloat. Within the context of this report, administrative bloat is defined as excess non-academic staffing and spending. The Martin Center frames this strictly as a fiscal concern. Think about it. If money is being poured into administrative layers that don't directly serve the academic mission, it detracts from the fiscal responsibility and the efficiency that the institution needs to thrive. The whole goal of this reform is to streamline operations so that resources actually reach the students and the classroom.
Another major pillar of the blueprint is safeguarding viewpoint diversity. The report defines this as ensuring the presence of a wide range of intellectual perspectives and protecting free inquiry within the university. The analysis prioritizes this because, in their view, true academic excellence requires open debate.
If an institution, especially a state's sole public university, becomes an intellectual echo chamber, it completely fails in its mission to prepare students for the complexities of civic life. Let's move to and see how this builds a clear structural contrast. On one side, we have the current system, weighed down by concentrated resources and misaligned programs. And that is pitted directly against the targeted fixes the blueprint demands: enhanced competition, streamlined efficiency, and a laser focus on student return on investment. The proposed reforms are presented as a direct, structural antidote to those deeply entrenched problems threatening Wyoming's higher education landscape.
Part 3. Pathways to long-term stability. Let's look at the anticipated outcomes of the proposed reforms.
So, the crucial point is this. If Wyoming adopts these thoughtful policy reforms, what is the actual end goal? Well, the ultimate objective is positioning these institutions for long-term stability and sparking renewed public confidence. By focusing on academic rigor and fiscal efficiency, the system is designed to deliver true value for the students who attend and maximum return for the taxpayers and citizens who ultimately fund the whole thing. It is all about ensuring the public university system fundamentally serves the people of Wyoming.
Which leaves us with one incredibly important question. Can these reforms ensure public investment creates value for the citizens of Wyoming? The Martin Center's blueprint argues a resounding yes, presenting their policy proposals as a very practical path forward. But it's a question that challenges all of us to deeply consider that delicate balance between taxpayer investment, institutional structure, and real-world educational outcomes. It's a fascinating look at higher education policy, and I really hope this explainer helped map out the core arguments of this blueprint for you. Thanks for joining me today, and I encourage you to keep asking these big questions.